Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Zach Young, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're joined by Jessica Fontana, co-founder of Samurai Partners and a systems strategist whose growth frameworks have helped brands unlock 20 to 40% gains in efficiency and revenue across industries. With a background that spans managing over 1 billion ad impressions in the early internet era to building AI-driven marketing systems, automation, and custom GPT solutions, Jessica now partners with founders to align AI, operations, and leadership so they can scale smarter, faster, and with far less friction in their teams and workflows. Jessica, a very, very warm welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
Absolutely. Going to be a great episode, a lot to dive into. Before we do, I do like to start with your background though. So I know I touched on just a little bit, but could you walk us through, before Samurai Partners, what were you doing previously? And what was really your inspiration to get into this space?
Sure. So previously I had been in marketing for almost 30 years, if you can believe that at this point. So started in the early days, 1998, 99, working with the intersection of radio, internet, and also advertising operations. So working on 1 billion impressions, scheduling the ads, learning the algorithms, all of those things. So like understanding the back end of how everything worked. Once I understood everything on the back end, it was really easy to kind of move into the other side because so many people work top down, right? There's so many people that start at the top and they're like, okay, well, I don't necessarily understand how it works, but I'm going to go sell it or I'm going to do this versus I actually came from the bottom. So when people try to tell me things that aren't right, I'm like, that's not actually how that works. So I have a very, very different viewpoint in how to build things and how to work them because I've actually worked in the underworkings of it all.
Yeah, you were there, dare I say, from just about the beginning. So
Just about the beginning, yeah.
I could only imagine. I have to ask, back then,
Yeah.
you said you're running these ad campaigns. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what were people even running ads on
Oh
back
my gosh.
pre-2000?
So one of the fun campaigns that I got to work on back then was eBay. Okay. And
Nice.
back then, eBay, you can't even get them to buy on anything other than a cost per sale or something like that now. Back then, they were actually buying on a cost per click. That was absolutely unheard of. And I was working on the number 12 site on the web at that point, which was zoom.com. Before before that URL was actually bought by Elon and PayPal and became PayPal subsidiary, it used to be the number 12 site on the web, and it was merged with snap.com and NBC. It was one of the largest mergers back in 1999. So along with it was rivaling the Time Warner one at the time. There were two really big conglomerates that were going forward. Time Warner obviously is still kind of around. The other one died.
Started from the beginning. Very, very
From the
cool.
beginning. Yeah.
I am curious, before we dive into Samurai Partners, which we absolutely will do. So you were doing that, working with these big brands. When did AI come into the picture for you? Because I'm going to guess that you were very early on that as well.
Yeah. About 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
About 3 years. So it's actually really kind of a funny story because the woman who introduced me into the internet back in 1998, she has been a client, mentor, colleague for 27 years. And a few years ago, she came to me and she said, you have to come into this AI thing because I know that you need to be in this. And it's funny because when she came to me originally and it was the internet, she said the internet is the future. And I was like, okay, back in 1998, right? So when she came to me and said, AI is the next thing, and I need you to know how to do this because I've always been her like tech right hand. And so when she said that, I was like, all right, let's go. And so we joined a mastermind together and just really started to learn. And I got into so many different things and understanding it, then started applying it into my business, was able to create, all of a sudden exponentially increase the amount of content and things that I was pumping out for clients. And so, I was actually recognized by Neil Patel. My agency, Forte, was recognized by Neil Patel for 2 years in a row for our SEO work and case studies based on our SEO work. And so, and content and all of that is a big part of that. And so really just taking that, applying it into my own agencies and my own work, my clients' work, and it's been it's been just amazing. And then applying automations and all of those things and really just finding ways to increase their profitability and their success.
What business owner doesn't want that?
Right?
Right? Come on.
What?
I think that leads us perfectly into Samurai Partners today.
Hmm.
You touched on a little bit. Could we dive into the business, the
Yeah.
typical businesses you're working with, kind of how you work with them, everything like that?
Sure, sure, sure. So it's kind of interesting. I will work with different companies and they'll come to me and say things like, I want to fire my COO. How do I do that? He's costing me a lot of money every month, and I feel like he's just answering the same questions. And how do I fix that? So we talk about it, and there's this report that they had, as an example. This report that they had, and it was taking him tens of hours every week explaining to the 15 different franchise managers what their report meant. So I built a custom GPT that created a report that gave them all of the information and basically was able to dissect the report and give them the what for. So based on all of that.
Mm,
So that's just one example of, okay, here's how. Now they still have their COO, he's still there, but the amount of time that he has to spend doing that kind of repetitive work of re-explaining that same report every single month to 15 people, now he's able to do something more strategic for the business instead of that repetitive kind of task. And
good.
and so going in and, we go in and we do that on an exponential scale, right? I've got somebody else who they had leads and they were still getting their leads via email. And then so they were coming in, they were putting them into a spreadsheet, and then they were responding. And then a couple of days later, they were responding, and then they were responding, and you can't scale a business like that, right? You really just can't. So we came in, we created automations for all of their new leads, for all of their proposals. We created end of day reports so that everything is submitted through a report, and there's like a dashboard and a report on what's happening in their business. All of the issues are put into a pipeline instead of it all happening through the office manager's cell phone.
Welcome to the future. Welcome to present day. Those
Woo!
people were living in 1998.
Right, right. And there's so many people out there that are still doing that. And
Gosh.
it's surprising.
Mm,
And they just need a little bit of help because they're so busy working in their business. They haven't had a time to go, oh my gosh, there's a better way to do this.
I love that. I love that. A lot of people have fear about AI, right? But I
Yeah,
mean, what you just described
absolutely.
was AI taking care of the busy work. So
Hmm.
you get to focus on the bigger picture items. You get to be a person
Yeah,
and use your creativity and your experience
yeah,
to craft a business, work on the business, not in it.
absolutely. And it's so funny because I talk about that a little bit in AI Wrecking Ball. So AI Wrecking Ball was my book that I came out just over a year ago and
Mm,
Amazon bestseller. And one of the things that I actually talk about with that is like your HI. So you've got AI, but you've got HI, which is your human intelligence. And in order for AI to really, really work, the benefit and the thing that we have right now are that nuance, that human intelligence is our superpower compared to AI. There's so many people like AI is going to take my job. It's not going to take your job. People who know how to use AI and who know how to apply it and who know how to do all of these things, they might take your job,
sure.
right?
It's a
And
tool.
that's what I was told like 3 years ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was at the beginning of the internet. I can't let these people alley-oop me. I have to be at the beginning. So,
Yeah.
and Samurai Partners is kind of a result of that of, okay, how do we help people bring their business into the new age? Because there's so many people that if you don't, you're going to be left behind, right?
Mhm.
Kind of that AI wrecking ball, get on top or get wiped out. That's the subtitle, and there's reasons for that, right? It's like unless you get on this next phase, you will get wiped out, and we don't want that to happen. So how many owners can I impact? How many people can I reach? How many people can I go in and say, okay, what archaic thing are you doing? How can we improve? How do we improve your profitability? We improve your profitability by improving your operations, right? Once we improve your operations, let's go in and fix your marketing because I've got 27 years of marketing auditing experience and I can fix all of that. Like you know, I have become like the agency for people who have been burned by agencies
Mm.
because, agencies are out there messing with people all the time. They just take your money and la 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 la. I go in, do audits. I'm like, they're charging you how much a month? They haven't even been in your account in 3 months. How's that work? Right? So I try to take, with all of the technology, with all of the things, you also have to have the heart and you have to have the human intelligence because that's what sets us apart.
Mm. Love that. It is a tool. It's very smart, but AI
Hmm.
is a tool.
It's a
Absolutely.
tool.
I'd love
Yeah.
to ask about integrating AI with marketing,
Hmm.
especially on that piece. When I think about that, I think, okay, maybe is AI creating these videos for the business owners?
Hmm.
Walk me through, how do you utilize AI in marketing specifically?
Hmm. So because I do still apply a lot of HI, I have things like custom GPTs, right? I have different custom GPTs for all different types of things. Every single individual function that I want to do, I may have like a custom GPT, and then I tie them together so that they can kind of string it together and do all of the functions. Like, for example, I have 5 different ones that I use for creating blogs for clients, right? You can go through and you can have specific things, but if you've got one that is really good at research and you've got one that's really good at creating outlines and thinking through, you've got one really good for outlines, but you've got one for like content pillars and all of that kind of stuff. Like you're able to work all of that and string it all together for your clients and make that work.
Hmm. Got it. Okay. So it's still a big human component in the marketing, though. Am I right there?
Yes, I mean, and I think that there always is going to be a human component, but the AI is allows you once you, because that's part of what I talk about in mastering influence is you have to have something to replicate, right? If you don't have something to replicate and scale, it's going to break, right? So you've got to be able to have the thing first that it's going to work before you scale it. So that's so AI is great, right? But there's a lot of different pieces that we actually employ as part of it, but you have your HI kind of over it. So whether it's creating, all of your multiple renditions, your different options, your A/B tests, all of those different things can all be done really, really easily with AI because all of a sudden you have more options than you ever even thought possible. I worked for a brand for 9.5 years, and it was like all of a sudden I was able to bring in AI and I was like, oh my gosh, there was 80% of it I already had tried, right? But there was that extra little 20% where I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that, or I didn't think about how that could impact it, right? So it's really great with being able to expand and being able to do A/B tests and being able to work through a lot of that, but then also create cadences and all of those different things for your clients, right? So there's so many different pieces and places, as well as analytic reports where you're replacing a COO or, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the business owners you're looking to help, people who living in the Stone Age, unfortunately, still, right? And so because they are in the Stone Age, I got to assume they're pretty set in their ways. So how do you overcome some of that friction when it
Hmm.
comes to these newer technologies?
Absolutely. One of the things that we actually will offer to do is we'll come in and do a team alignment.
Hmm.
And so my business partner is actually a Tony Robbins. He worked for Tony Robbins for about 14 years, and everything from helping with Date with Destinies to Business Mastery to UPW, all different types of things, as well as being on like his personal security team. So he was really, really close, got a bunch of really back end learnings from that. And because he's got a lot of that team alignment and all of those things, him and I work really, really well together because I'm operations and all of those things, but he's got teams and leadership and all of that. So we work together really, really well to be able to go into companies and have those kinds of conversations because you have to be able to align the team to be able to get some of those things to happen.
Yeah.
And we have an entire like leadership diagnostic and all of that through our other book, Mastering Influence. And you can see different things there at masteringinfluencebook.com. So there's a leadership diagnostic, there is a DNA workbook that you can actually go through. It helps you think through your decision tree making and and how you speak and different things like that. And you can actually load that then into AI, and it can help speak in your language in a way that makes sense. So it's almost like this little, you're putting all your DNA into it so that it can work with you and help you.
I have to assume not a lot of agencies are doing that. Team
No, especially
alignment.
not for free. I mean, the team, because there's a team alignment worksheet, and there is the leadership DNA worksheet, and those are for free. So you can just literally take those, work with them, work with your team, and then there's additional options if you want us to come in and help you with your team alignment or help your organization with their alignment.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely different than most agencies, that is for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, there's some people that can afford to work with us. There's some that can't. And I really just want to help people, right? I want to help people in understanding this and being able to apply it because, there's this divide happening, and we really need to be able to have more people on the other side of the divide.
Hmm. Absolutely. You've been in the game a long time, clearly had a lot of success. I have to assume a lot of your clients are kind of finding you just through word of mouth and referrals. Am I right
Hmm.
there?
Oh yeah, I so far 90% of my I've never advertised.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good
So
problem to have.
yeah, yeah. I've never advertised, and I've had some clients that I've known for 27 years, and I've had
Hmm.
clients that I've got more than one client that I've had for 20 years. So it's to me it's a partnership, you know. And you may or may not be able to know this through our name, but Samurai Partners is actually AI partners. So, or your AI partner. So we really, really look at it as a partnership. We want to come in, we want to help them integrate and help them grow because AI is happening and changing so quickly. The landscape is changing so quickly, and there's so many companies out there. They're so busy working in their business. They're an artist who have created a business or whatever it is, and they can't you can't have two eyes. I mean, you have two eyes, but you can't have two main focuses, right? You've got to either have your business or you've got AI. You can't always try to get both of them going at the same time. And if you're running your business full time, how do you understand those pieces and stay on the forefront? So that's where we come in with those kinds of partnerships and really help them stay at the forefront.
Hmm. Love that. Absolutely love it. I'm going to ask a bit of a selfish question, but I know it'll help some listeners as well.
Yes.
So say, someone's pretty average when it comes to AI, right? They're using Chat GPT to ask them some pretty basic questions, right?
Yeah.
What would
Yeah.
be your advice to that person who wants to go from an average AI user to someone who's a little bit more sophisticated and can use it to create some pretty cool things?
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things that really stuck with me and how I use AI is I really treat it like an employee. Okay. I don't treat it as it's an intelligence, right? And because it's an intelligence, your employees are intelligence. They have varying degrees, right? But they having that relationship with it, having that conversation with it, when you're explaining something to an employee, you wouldn't just say, you know, go do like this little itty bitty thing, right? If there's context to it that you would need to tell an employee so that an employee would understand your vision, you need to do that with AI as well,
Hmm.
right? Because without that context, without that understanding, without giving it the color, you're just going to get a flat answer back. You're only going to get what you've given it. And while AI is super, super smart and it may be a great answer, without the context, without that additional information, you're not going to get the level that you really could get with providing that context. So if you would think that it needs to understand multiple nuances, give it those nuances in your prompt, in your information, and don't just accept what it's given you. So, as an example, with that prompt, you can always say, please ask me 3 clarifying questions to make sure that you understand what it is that I'm looking for.
Hmm.
Okay. So, those two things together, providing that extra context and then giving it the opportunity to provide a feedback loop for understanding prior to actually getting your response will allow you to get a better response.
Very good. Very good. I personally, I told you it was a little selfish. I wrote that
Yeah.
down. So
Yes, very good, very
I will
good.
be using that.
Very good.
I
I hope
love
it
it.
helps.
I
Yeah.
love it. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking forward to the future a little bit.
Yes.
You've done a lot in your career already. I'm curious about the
Mhm.
future. Next, let's say 1 to 2 years. Are there any goals you've set for yourself in the business you're looking to achieve?
Yeah, my biggest goal is I want to reach. I'm looking to start growing some of my channels and things like that. I actually am looking to start getting out there a little bit more. I've had my head down for so long, but then I've realized that I can't help as many people with my head down as I can speaking and really showing people here's how you can apply it to your business. Here's how you can help. And so my goal this year is really to grow my impact so that I can help more people.
Podcasting is a great start.
Yes. Thank you for the invite.
No, absolutely. Jessica, where can the listeners connect with you? Where can they find you online?
Sure. So you can find me on LinkedIn as Jessica. It's LinkedIn, /LN, Jessica Fontana. You can find me as Jessica Fontana Edos. Also on LinkedIn, you can also reach us at samuraipartners.ai.
SamuraiPartners.ai. Jessica, pleasure
Yeah,
having you on. Thank you so much for your
you
time.
too. All right. Thank you. You too. Take care.
Absolutely. And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of the Founders Feature. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go and connect with Jessica on all of her social media and websites. Be sure to check out those books as well. All of those links will be in the show notes and description. Hey, get out of here, buddy. Luke. I don't even know how he got in my room. Could you see that little boy right
I
there?
did. Yes, I did. I was just letting it roll.
Oh, I was like, goodness, what is happening? That's never happened before. But that's why this is edited.
Yes.
Oh boy. I can finish that. I'll do that right after this.
Okay. Oh,
Jessica,
good.
pleasure having you on. Thank
You
you for your
too.
time.
Thank you. Yes.
Taking us right now about 3 to 4 weeks to get it fully edited and live.
Okay.
So we'll upload it first to Buzzsprout just to get the
Hmm.
audio link. We will email that to you as soon as we have it. Then it goes to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. It does take us a
Okay.
little bit longer to edit the video or
Hmm.
the video. So that'll take us a little bit longer, but we will get you the Buzzsprout link ASAP.
Perfect. I love it. All right. Yeah. And just let me know when it's out and I will share it and make sure, get you some extra support as well. So,
Will do. Appreciate it,
all
Jessica.
right.
Take care.
Thank you so much, Zach. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of the Founders Feature. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go and connect with Jessica on all of her social media and her website, and be sure to check out those books as well. Hang on, I don't want to do that. Scratch that part. One more time. And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of the Founders Feature. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go and connect with Jessica on all of her social media and website. All of those links will be in the show notes and description down below. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business, and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.